been said that the mining industry is lagging behind when it comes to embracing the principles of the fourth industrial revolution and the industrial Internet of Things. But how true is this? I'm joined by Andrew Reese, who's the Global Industry Manager, Mining, Metals and Minerals at Endress&Hauser to discuss the topic. Welcome, Andrew.
Hello, Gerard. How are you doing? You okay?
Great stuff.
Excellent. Yeah. I think your question's pretty valid, but I think only in part. I think we're lagging behind. The mineral industry is generally lagging behind industries like the chemical industry, and that's mostly due to its heavy legislation. They have many more rules than the mining. That can be an advantage and it can be a disadvantage. I think if we look at the way the mining industry is going, especially with the work of the Mining Guidelines Group, Michelle Ash is the chair lady, she's quite famous in the industry. She's trying to create certain rules and guidelines that the industry should run in. And the good news is it's being adopted by some of the big players like Barrick, Rio Tinto. So these are major players who are looking at kind of legislation guidelines, certainly in the main critical areas of health and safety and environment protection. Those are the key areas that we need to really brush up on regards not just digitalization, but regards the fundamentals. Digitalization, of course, can help, but not in a wide sweeping way, more in a small step-by-step way. And if I can say or give some advice to any smaller operators, I said don't try and do too much at once. Try and take it, as I said, step by step, and look at small projects. And I mean a project. Digitalization is a fundamental project for any organization, and it needs the buy-in from not just the lowest levels in the organization like maintenance, it needs a buy-in from the top, the CEO. Okay. And that's pretty much why I go around these exhibitions talking to the CEOs to see their mentalities, to see their frame of mind, see if they're ready for digitalization.
Wow. So let's look at digitalization. How do you envisage the mine of the future, and where do you see data fitting into all of this?
If you look at the big players like Rio, they've got big plans. And they're working with some of the key data companies, if you like Microsoft, like Siemens, for example. And they're looking at right from the enterprise level down to the shop floor. But as I said, a small company can't do this. Companies like Agnico Eagle, Sean Boyd, the CEO, he's a great example of how mining companies are adopting at various levels digitalization. On his drilling project, for example, I remember a project, we were in Toronto, and he actually was in front of maybe 500 people. He took his laptop, basically linked up on the big screen to his mine in Kittilä mine in Finland, and he robot controlled the drill. He drilled, he set the explosives in there, and we saw an explosive. He removed everything away from the scene, so there was no people involved. And that's a fundamental part of how digitalization can not just improve the operations, but also the health and safety on site. And it was nice to see our equipment was also in there, mixing and blending the explosives on the rock side.
So let's look at when it comes to mineral resources, how does technology help to increase the mineral scarcity that we have right now?
I think it's changed, and with the revolution that we've got at the moment on electric vehicles, if you look down the supply chain, electric vehicles, the batteries, mineral components of the batteries, many of the big companies like Renault and BMW and Mercedes are looking at the supply chain. And when they look at the supply chain, they have bigger demands. If you look at minerals that go into steel, for example, the quality doesn't have to be so high. But if you look at it going into a battery mineral combination, then the minerals throughout the process have to be much more refined. And that means measurement systems have to be much more accurate. And we're no longer selling a flow meter maybe for $10,000. We're selling a Raman spectrometer for $250,000, and this is actually going into the production lines to monitor the quality and the control behind the quality on the production lines. It's quite a big change in mindset. It's also nice for our company as well, who are into these kind of things. So Raman spectrometry is usually laboratory, but now it's in the field. And that's a changing way of doing things on the field.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Andrew.
No, it's my pleasure. Anytime.
And remember to follow our YouTube channel for more insightful videos.